Rough Edge FM. Irritatingly irresistible internet radio at roughedgefm.com.
The art of magic is mystery, majesty, pageantry, and craft. It's also about history, marketing, networking, and more. All of these topics and others are discussed on Magic Talk with your hosts, renowned magician James Lantine and owner of the White Rabbit Magic Shop, Joshua Lantine, now on Rough Edge FM.
Gentlemen, it is yours truly. It is me, the renowned magician James Lantine. Oh, wait a minute. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
What?
I see half of you.
What'd you do that for?
Well, you got to move over. So, you trying to do the whole Star Wars Vulcan mind melt, whatever?
Well,
yeah,
if you set up the cameras right at the very beginning of the show, I wouldn't have to.
I have it right. You just have to sit in the right place.
I didn't move.
So Josh, you're back.
I am back.
I've
Thanks
missed
for
you.
replacing me.
I know you've been gone.
How did my replacement do?
Well, there were several of them that we auditioned, and I think we finally found one.
Yeah.
Me.
You okay.
So
Okay.
don't I look much better on screen? So anyways,
you are handling this whole fatherly role, I think, wrong all the way.
Oh, by the way, it is 10, 2, and 4. So
Is it 4?
well, no, it's 4 somewhere. But
Spoken like an alcoholic.
I know. Anyways,
That'll make sense later on in the show. I'll tell you.
You have been distant, and
just
you're
on
back.
the road.
Well, you were on the road,
I
and you were
went-
having a baby, and
Well, yeah, I've had my own life that I had to live. I'm so sorry.
that's okay. It's
You know,
just
as my father, you should be proud of me for that.
about having a baby.
Well, no, about having my own life. And yes, because now you have a grandkid.
I do. I have a grandson that's local,
Exactly.
which is awesome. And you know what I found out?
What?
He likes grandma and me better.
You think so?
Yeah.
Actually, no, he does behave better for you guys.
Yeah, he does
A little bit.
He likes.
But I also found out that that's done on purpose because they're more comfortable with mom and dad. So I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
No, it's inherent that grandparent kids always behave better for the grandparents. They're born that way. It's
Yeah,
like
whatever.
in the DNA. So, anyways, we've got a lot going on, and today we have a special guest because I wasn't sure if you were going to actually be here. So I have 2 new interviewers for the guest host position.
Okay, so
And
are they good?
well, one of them you actually thought, oh my gosh, we're interviewing Joshua J.
Well, okay, I'm gonna. This is my excuse. My eyes are really bad.
Yes, they are.
Hence why I have to wear these glasses in order to go and try to see better. But
So Joshua
obviously,
has
it's not working.
Joshua has MS, and not Joshua J. Joshua. Well, I mean,
I am a
technically,
Joshua J.
You are a Joshua J because
But
you're
I'm a
Joshua
Josh-
James.
I'm a
Lantine.
Joshua J. Lantine. That's you got to add the last
Yeah,
bit of it,
yeah.
or else it doesn't make any sense.
That's right. So my Joshua has MS, which has got the eye problem.
Yeah.
The other Joshua is doing just fine, and I don't know about this Joshua Ray. He might have MS too, but we'll find out. So
That sounds like a really inappropriate question.
I
to
know,
ask.
I know. Anyways, let's bring on to the stage Joshua Ray and Buck Bowen. Did I say that right, Buck?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Yeah, Ray was kind of easy. I didn't have to rehearse that. That was like a piece of cake.
Right.
So-
For the record, I have been Joshua Ray longer than he has been Joshua J. So
You know, that's
win,
fair.
win.
That's very fair.
Okay. You know, we go by the J team because all our kids are named J. So James, Julie, Joshua, Jacob, Jonathan, and Jared.
I'm the
And-
rebel.
And Joshua, well, I don't know. Were you a Joshua J before Joshua J?
Oh no,
I don't
he's
know.
older than me.
Is he older than you?
Yes, he is.
Okay. Anyway, so welcome to the stage, guys. How you doing?
Doing all right. Thanks for asking.
So, so this is on podcast as well as we are streaming this show live, so people will be able to see it on Facebook. And so it's kind of tricky because we gotta explain everything we're doing. So people on Facebook are going, "What do you think we are, blind?" But the podcast audience is blind, so we gotta explain it to them. And my Joshua is blind as well. So
literally.
Now I noticed Joshua Ray is wearing glasses.
Literally?
Yeah.
But not sunglasses.
I'm also literally wearing glasses, but I am not blind. However, I have been teaching all day. I teach 5th grade, my day job. So I brought this just in case.
Oh, beautiful.
In case we have some problems. And
I get it. That is awesome.
Better than
fifth graders will definitely do that to you.
Yeah.
So how long have you been teaching 5th grade?
This is 20 years now.
20 years. Wow. Yeah. Wow. And you actually still talk like an adult. That's amazing.
I do. I pride myself on that.
All right. And Buck just left. He's like, okay, I'm done with this interview. So anyway, so
I had to adjust my shirt, and I usually charge for that. So
No.
I'll have to mark the explicit box on our on this podcast. So give me a little background on your relationship. So we got Joshua Ray, who is a school teacher. We got Buck Bowen, who is I believe you're are you the one who owns the company, or what's the deal?
Yeah. So me and Josh, we've been together for 3 years now. No, I'm just kidding.
Your houses don't look the same though. So I'm taking it you're not in the same place.
No, we're not. Yeah, together but separate. And you have to say it like that for some reason. So, yeah, I'm the man behind the brand, Do Scala Magic. Me and Josh first met in probably 2017, 2018 for sure. I was living in Southern California at the time, and then I moved up to Northern California. We can unpack that story some other time. But yeah, I bumped into this guy, and we've been pretty good friends ever since. And, we're always talking, whether, projects, magic, all this stuff. And gosh, it's been probably 6, 7, 8 months. And he said, hey, I had this idea. I've been kind of working this thing out, which of course is Lucky Ladybug. And I mean, it was just like done. Like, that's all I want to do right now. I had some of my own stuff I was working on, and I'm like, you guys have seen the effect. And so to me, it's like, to get so much mileage out of so little work, was just mind blowing to me. And I'm like, yeah, we got to pursue that. So we've just been basically on the phone every day for the past half year, talking about that, and now promoting it. And
let me get my eyeballs out again.
Yeah. So Do Scala. So it's called Do Scala. And
yes,
is it a magic brand, or is it your performance company, or
no? It's
all of the above.
Mostly all of the below.
I'll be right back.
All of the below.
We're gonna make you check that box before this podcast is over.
Right.
Never invite. I'm gonna tell. You guys are going to become the number 6 most listened to podcast after this.
Or number 1, maybe number 1.
Oh yeah, it could be number 1.
There you go.
Depends on, take that shirt off again. Let's see what happens. So,
we'll sprinkle it in there. But so for me, like in the little short form bio, right? It, more than just a magic production company. My goal is really to equip, I say magicians because it's a magic company, but it's really anybody interested in just living a more interesting life, being more entertaining. For me, I always say I'm an entertainer first, because that's what I like to do. So whether it's like with music or art of any stripe, magic in this case, that's what's important for me. Putting smiles on people's faces, showing them some things maybe they'd never thought about before. And so, it's, my thing isn't like, well, let's just put out a trick. Let's put out a trick. It's, how can we give people tools that they can use to just make their lives more interesting, of course, for first, but then for others, right? So,
the more, if you listen to this podcast, you'll see that we are always constantly saying that we are entertainers and magic is our tool.
Oh, I heard that. I love
Yeah.
that. I love that a lot.
Yeah, we
really cool.
we are strong believers. It's not about the trick. It's not about trying to fool people. It's about entertaining people. And so I'm a strong advocate of that, because I think, all too often you see people that are getting up there performing and their number one goal is to fool you. And it should be to entertain you. So we're strong advocates of that one. So now, Buck, when you first got involved with Joshua, did you too think it was Joshua J that you were hooking up with? So.
It's not? It's not?
Yeah, I know. Oh, I'm sorry. I let the cat out of the bag. This is the first time you're actually seeing him on camera, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. Well, I will tell you, I mean, I do have a quick little story about that. So I years ago, made the pilgrimage to Magi Fest, checking it out, seeing what it was all about. I kind of came to magic a little later in life. It's probably about 12 years ago, but had done a little as a kid, like we all do, and kind of, just moved on to other thing, music, relationships, whatever. Teaching, and then kind of came back to it because my kids got interested in it, my own two kids, when they were younger. And so I used to do a coin trick. So back to Magi Fest. I end up at Magi Fest. I remember wearing my badge and walking around, and somebody walks me up to introduce me to Joshua J, at the vanishing little kiosk. I'm standing there, and the whole time he's kind of like doing one of these like looking at my badge and looking back at me, kind of. I could only, the dialogue in my head was, this guy is messing with me. This guy is messing with me. That's what he is thinking the whole time. And I remember every time we'd walk by each other, there was kind of this like moment of sort of, are you for real? Or is this a prank? So Josh, if you're listening, no, this is my family name. I didn't try. I'm not trying to ride on your coattails here. So I don't know if he does he wear a coat? I think
no, he doesn't. But more to the story is that he's riding on your coattails because you obviously had it first.
Right, exactly.
So I mean, and I met him at Magic Live in person for the first time. He's a gret guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Very, very friendly. Willing to talk with anybody. So by the way, we have escape rooms that we also do here, and so we had an escape room book at 3:00. So Joshua will be getting up and running around a lot. So
oh wait, I'm supposed to be working today? I was just getting my product placement.
No,
I didn't know I was supposed to be doing anything else.
I thought he was trying to escape. I thought
that's the thing. I've been working on my other magic acts. Yeah,
I get it.
It's easier to do on camera. You just say, "Hey, look over there," and then I go somewhere else.
So on our podcast, we do a we are monetized. So periodically we do have to take a commercial break to allow those sponsors to do their thing. Only when we stream live, there is no pause button. So we are just going to pause for 1 second right here as we take a break for our commercial audience. Freeze. Unfreeze. Okay, that was great. You guys, that looked good. I thought maybe your screen froze again, Buck, but
it did.
So anyways, you came up with the idea of Ladybug. Now, one of the things that we did in our review is we did talk about the fact that, there's a product called the Web, which is a spider. And then also it's kind of a spinoff of like a double cross. Did any of those have any inspiration on Ladybug, or was it purely by coincidence?
So I feel like I had kind of seen that Boris, I think it was Boris the Spider, like maybe an ad for it years ago. It was the one with the phone. It was like a digital version of the Web.
Oh, okay.
Like on your phone. And so I had seen that, but really what inspired this, because I didn't know anything about the Web necessarily. I knew there were tricks like this. But the one that I had seen was the one that my kids got at that magic shop at the local brick and mortar here. That is no longer around, but Grand Illusions.
Yeah. Shout out to Steve.
Steve Johnson out here. But he he kind of like showed my son this little trick with, and it was like paper cards and a magician and a lady and a cockroach, and the trick was you just turn all 3 cards over and now it disappears, right? And it's on the back of their hand. I think he performed it once for my wife, for his mom, and that was it. Like never again. There was screams, and I think he was more scared of the reaction than even the rest of us were. So that to me was kind of the inspiration. I had that, and I think I still have it up in the closet. It came with some adhesive bits and the plastic cockroach. And every now and then I would clean out the junk drawer and there it would be. And I always thought, this is a great trick. I love the idea of this surprise, but I, again, didn't want to scare people. I think one reviewer had kind of made it as like, the other feels like a prank, which is great, and that if you're going for that, if that's your style or, your performance style and works for the audience. But for me, I mean, I perform a lot for mixed groups, families, and also my personality on stage is one where I'm, wanting to connect with the audience, and I'd rather them have an endearing moment rather than a fearing moment. So that was kind of what prompted this and led me along that path.
I was going to say, when I was watching the video for it, it did look like it was a really good, all around, all audience type of trick. It could go and transcend just adults or just kids. It's not just for one, which is nice.
I really want to chime in here.
What's that?
After you, I want to chime in here.
Okay, I was gonna say, the problem with like the web and the spider and everything, it's good for maybe like teens and young adults because they like getting freaked out and but you can't go up to a 7-year-old and do that to them because all of a sudden they have arachnophobia for the rest.
Or
of
your grandmother.
Or your grandmother. Well, unless of course she's got a good life insurance and you're on it. But
hey, there's a couple of people, but you're playing with fire.
All right, go ahead, Buck.
Thank you. So, as more and more reviews come out, I'm because not everybody who reviews it actually goes out and performs it, which is unfortunate, but it's fine. That's why we include a performance video. Yeah. But I'm noticing this trend of people saying like, oh yeah, I could see this being like really great for kids. And I'm like, dude, I've never actually performed this for a single kid. It's been purely adults. I don't even know if I'd perform it for a kid. Of course I'd perform it for a kid. But my point is, like me and Josh were talking about this, and he's like, man, I'd really love it if we could just, in general, in the magic community, move away from this is for kids and this is for adults. Like my buddy, the Magic James, he literally performs his kid show for adults, And so, because ultimately somebody might go, oh, that's for kids. And then they won't want to buy it. And it's like, they're going to be missing out hugely on this, like Josh said, this really enduring effect. And then of course, the converse is true where you're like, well, this doesn't look like it could be for kids and I'm a kids performer or versa vice. And so
right.
Well,
I think I was in my review, one of the things I said is I think it would fit great with little kids because it doesn't scare the crap out of them. Exactly. And the guy that I was with, I believe was saying, oh my gosh, I could totally see this playing with my adult crowd. Yeah. So, I think a lot of the stuff, I think is all in the delivery,
100 billion, million, thousand.
Yeah. And if you deliver it a certain way, then it's adults are going to look at it and go, okay, that's kind of cheesy. That was great for kids, not my style. But you can take that same effect and deliver it a little differently and dazzle an adult.
Here's what I can tell you, and I cannot stress this enough. If you perform it the way that we instruct, you're going to get the optimal responses. Like I performed this probably at least 20 times at the castle, And out of two of those times, me and the spectator got like teary-eyed, and then we ended up
Really?
hugging. They're like, I've seen a lot of magic. Sorry, that wasn't their voice. That's a different voice. They were like, I've seen a lot of magic. I've seen a lot of magic. I've never seen anything like this before. And we just kind of sat there with it, because it's like, holy crap, right? Because so much of magic is really one directional. It's, hey, look at what I can do.
Right.
Watch this. Right. I guess that was a Erdnase change, but or something. I don't know what's going on. And so I'm just gonna riff here. Like I've had a couple magicians say to me, "Man, I wish it were longer." And the funny thing is out of all the times I performed this, out of all the times Josh has performed this, we have never ever had a layman tell us that they wish the trick were longer.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, I got people who are like, hey, I do the 17 phase version where I'm, and then I think we're down to like a 1-card version now at this point. Like apparently there's like a 1-card version. Pretty soon there's just going to be like a Thurston stage version where you just think of a ladybug and it appears,
Right.
It's like it's like a ladybug without ladybugs version. Do you guys get the reference, by the way?
Yes.
Card trick
Yeah.
yeah. It's like ladybug without ladybug.
And magicians have a very hard time thinking like a layperson.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God.
I've noticed that a lot of the times, especially when I'm talking to some customers, it's they have a hard time getting out of their own head with that. Really.
Yeah, I've had magicians tell me that the invisible deck is overused. And I'm like, are you kidding? That I get so much mileage out. I do that. I've seen that trick when I was 15 years old by Harry Blackstone Jr. And so my whole show is based on storytelling. So I talk about my experience of meeting Harry Blackstone, and he vanished an elephant, shot a woman out of a cannon, and sawed somebody in half, and then he did this card trick. And so when I met him, he asked me what was the favorite part of my show. I said, that card trick? And he's like, wait a minute. I vanished an elephant and you like the card trick? I'm like, oh my gosh, it was absolutely amazing. And so I share the experience with the audience. And that's one of the most memorable moments of the show. And you'll get magicians who are like, oh, it's an overdone trick. It's too, it's like, whoa. Yeah, for magicians, maybe.
So
exactly.
Personally, I know you don't like bugs. So if that means if you take this trick on the road, are you going to start swatting people's hands when the bug appears on their hand?
There's some on you.
I'm not a bug person. So
oh God, there's a bug.
Yeah.
So here's one problem that I run into, and we have a trick called Magic Lotto, and it's about a lottery ticket, and so they scratch the ticket, and it matches card selections and all this kind of stuff. We talk about how magicians play the lottery, and we play with a deck of cards, and so the problem with Magic Lotto is you scratch a ticket, now that ticket's gone, and you have 24 tickets left. So often in the magic community, especially with our magic shop, we find there are these great effects that are developed that have disposable items, right, and then they disappear. And so you're left with no more lotto tickets. You're left with no more ladybugs. So how is it that, people can continue? Because I believe you sell additional stock of ladybugs, right? You don't have to go buy the whole trick again. Right. But how is it that people can continue to do this even if Lucky Ladybug isn't on the market anymore?
Oh, me, pick me.
You're going to have to answer that because I'm not the marketing guy. I'm the
because honestly,
I'm the pretty face.
I got you. Our lotto ticket, if we stop producing it, it's gone.
Yeah,
right.
And the trick goes with it. This doesn't seem to be that way.
Do you, by the way, do you have like the scratchy? Is it the little scratchy too? The little scratchy ticket?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We actually hand place those scratches over the cards. There are 5 options on each card, and we had little circle scratches that we hand placed on 1,000 cards.
Yeah, that's not.
You don't ever want to do it again.
Yeah, that just a quick note is like we'll come up with ideas or people will pitch ideas to me and I'm going, love it, not cost effective, sorry, right? Like I am not, my goal in general is I want to make as much money as humanly possible at the service of others, right? Not at the expense, at the service of others. I'm very much a capitalist, but at the service of others. And I have no desire whatsoever to like just, I'm going to make 40 of these and then sell them to the community. I want to make something that's can get out there. I want to sell thousands and tens of thousands, ideally, right? So, so anyway, yeah, I feel your pain, and maybe we can talk about that or something.
And by the way, this effect is also something I don't see it necessarily. It's not a difficult effect to do. And I could very much see it like a school teacher or somebody who is working with, people in the community, or, a pastor or whoever. I mean, there are other people outside of magic that could get an absolute kick and a rise out of doing this effect.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So,
I think the big part about all that is like, again, getting it to them. How do they know it exists? Well, the number 5 in Rising Magic podcast is a part of that.
The number 5 in Rising.
We're number 4.
You are now number 4.
We're number 4.
And Rising.
Yeah. For now.
But
the next one in line is we got to beat out a Russian.
I totally get this thing, because so for me, my whole thing is I love to make things. I mean, before Magic, it was tinkering with electronics and building, woodworking, whatever. I mean, let's see. I could probably like fill your screen with lists of hobbies that I have done over the last 35, 40 years, right? I think the word that I love is multi-potentialite.
And is that in the dictionary?
Yeah, I don't think so, but I heard a TED talk about it once, and I felt like they were telling my story. So, and the whole idea is, these people who we and this has been me. It's like I get interested in something and I deep dive. Like gardening, read every gardening book, watched every gardening video, dug up my entire yard, and I was planting wheat out front while the neighbors were watching me, going, "What's he doing? He says he's going to grow wheat. What for?" It's like, yeah.
Is he putting a body underneath that?
Right. That's good fertilizer. So, so for me, it feels real natural to like always make my own effect, and so it's something I find a lot of joy in, is building things. And the balance, like you're saying, is finding how do you do that on like a big scale, right? So if you're creating these things and you're making these things, and how much do we make versus how much do we like say, oh, well, we're gonna have somebody else make that, and just be the people who put it together and make it available. But I love creating, and like when you're talking about putting those little things, I love creating, but I hate doing the same thing over and over again.
I didn't until we put 5,000 stickers on.
Yeah. Now you do. And I mean, to an extent. I mean, I performed music. That was a big part of my growing up, and even now. And so, you play the same song 100,000 times, right, for all your different gigs. And same thing with Magic. You perform the same trick hundreds and thousands of times. But I still find joy in that. I think there's enough variety in the audience and the reaction and all that stuff that it's like the first time every time. It's still
well, and you've seen it 100 times, but they haven't.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
So Deuce, do you have any other product, or does Deuce Gala have any other products that are out on the market, or is this the first one of many, or what's the deal?
Yes, and also yes. So I do want to close the loop we opened about having ladybugs available. And again, because this is the trick that I care the most about. When you said like first time, every time, or you've seen it 1,000 times. For me, what's really great about Lucky Ladybug is because I know that it's going to be such, and I even hate saying the word reaction, because that's marketing jargon, right? For in Magic, right? It's like a miracle, blah, 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 reaction. And I'm like, it's not even a reaction. I mean, it is a reaction ultimately, right? But it's what you get again, they are the star, right? It's all on them, but everybody else, there's this like symbiotic reaction where they're like, oh, right, because it's this cool freaking moment where everybody, again, it's like they're part of the magic as opposed to just looking at it externally. And so for me, knowing that, it's always so exciting to perform this trick because it's kind of like awesome. I can't wait to get this experience again, right? It's not the same as when you bring the card to the top for the 7th time. It's like great, like awesome.
So,
but
help me out with one thing that I had when I was trying to perform it. I'm old, and
it's not a competition.
Yeah. My hands are very dry. Is there a method? Because I know in the video when you were doing the instructions and you were talking about how to hold the ladybug, I kept losing its position when I tried to take care, do the move and the control and everything like that. Is there anything that you've learned in the course of doing it that, without revealing the secret to the public?
Well, to me, it's like I think the big thing is like, I mean, it doesn't have to defy gravity. Like I think in the video I hold it up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm actually like, check this out, and I make some little like cheeky comment or whatever. But it doesn't have to defy gravity. It can rest in your hands, and with those cards there, I think even Buck had what talked about having it loaded and ready to go, not necessarily stuck, or not necessarily on your hands, but stuck in another secret location because you've already got them in your hands, and at that point you can peel, just kind of
right.
Yeah.
So it's not out yet, but we actually have a ladybug load ring that it's a ring that you're going to wear on your finger, and it has a sensor on it. And so basically when your hand goes under like this, it just goes, it's almost like a diabetic kind of thing. Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't draw any blood. Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't draw blood. Okay. It's not like permanently attached. I just watched Blue Beetle, and it
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you saw that movie or not, but
that was permanently attached.
Yeah, the beetle, and it like it
latched on.
It latched, but it kind of like it went. Okay, this would definitely make it explicit, but if you watch Blue Beetle, the beetle actually went inside his body from a not so pleasant way. So,
well, look, I was talking to my lawyers about this before we got on the show, and they said, look, there's some things you should talk about and some things you shouldn't talk about. And one of the things, because, like I'm not anti-government, but, I like to have my own space. And so I'm going to bring this up with you guys just because I kind of want to offset things. But there is actually an RFID chip in the Ladybug. And so it's really just, we kind of had a contract with the CIA. And so, where you go, it goes. And
we can see where it's being performed all over the world,
Yeah, I get it. It's,
real time.
I sensed that when I first attempted to do the trick because I felt different after I did it.
Well, I think I listened to your podcast, and I think what you said is great. I mean, it's stuff we all go through it. I mean, right now I am so sweaty. I could perform this with like 16,000 ladybugs, like palmed and ready to go. But definitely there are times of the year, especially when the weather kind of cools off and it's dry and cold. And I'm here in Northern California where it's dry all the time. So that dry stuff. I like what you said. I think somebody, maybe it was you or your other host with you, had said about the I think it's called count, like the counting stuff.
Yeah,
I've used that before.
I use that on, and we also use a spray tack that we
yeah. And I think there was a product out for a while called like Magician's Helper or something like that. Or no, it was like coming in a little bottle, and you would rub it, and it smelled, I don't know, it smelled like a forest afterward.
Oh,
but
yeah, and then you touch the wall and you're stuck to the wall.
Yeah, it's like
Spider-Man.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah, it was pretty tacky. I mean, you could do a classic palm by just sticking the coin on the palm of your hand and just tipping it up like that flat. So
right.
yeah, the
yeah. Oh yeah, that was one.
Yeah.
Well, I will say that. May I jump in here?
Yeah.
Okay, so I will say this. I don't know if I have the dry hand issue. I will say that I'm willing to bet that part of this is I think we have a belief that it should just sit. I know I do. I mean, I've been struggling with this, that we should just be able to grab it and it rests in ladybug palm, and then we just tack it on. I kid you not. Like if you guys watch the Worker's Guide, because I always have some loaded up and ready to go, and I have my cards, and you guys can't see it because you're not on Facebook, and also if you are on Facebook, my hands are below the screen. But I'm doing my thing, right? And it's this moment of like I'm fumbling, and there's been times where it's like sideways, and I just kind of like do this thing, and I always kind of like just slowly remove my hand to like feel if like it's gonna drop, because I'm so terrified. And I think again, there was a review came out today, and the guy pointed out that probably the most difficult part of this whole effect is just having the balls to just go, oh yeah, can I see your hand? And done, right? Because we think they're gonna feel it. They're not. I promise you, they're not. Nobody's ever gonna feel it. I've like done readjustments, like chiropractic with it. I'm like,
I honestly, I thought that it would be because it was an object versus a stamp that it would be felt, and I tried it on my own hands. I tried it on my wife's hands, and you really don't feel it. So you're talking about being ballsy in a move and stuff like that. I saw somebody do a double cross where he went out and he asked people to see their rings. And so they all held their hands out in front of their faces like this. And he went out and he would grab the hand and he'd go, oh my gosh, that's such a beautiful ring. And then he'd move on to somebody else and do whatever. And then like 3 or 4 tricks later, he brought that person up to the table and he does a ring effect with them. And then he makes the ring vanish. And then he does a paddle trick with an X. And he vanishes the X. And then he's like, oh, where did it go? And they turn their hand over and they're like, oh my God. I mean, he never even touched me.
Right.
And they forget that, it happened several moves ago.
Yeah, cool.
So, it's people hear that and they're like, oh, no, I'd never do that. I couldn't get away with that. Right. But, if you have the guts to do it, and it's the same thing with the ladybug, you just gotta trust that, you can do it and it's going to work, and not freak out over the fact of, whoa, what if it falls, or what if it,
Well, I will tell you, like, I have had just last weekend I was out performing, doing some strolling magic at an arts festival. I only brought 2 tricks with me and a deck of cards. So I brought, Ladybug and a coin, like a copper silver version that I do, and then and a deck of cards in case anybody wanted to see a card trick. Nobody did. So I must have performed it probably 20 times in the hour and a half that I was there, and twice because it was hot and people are eating and their hands are sweaty, and you get a kid who's like super sweaty, and there was I got it on and they're holding it out. We get to the point where I go to like to reveal that the ladybug has flown away the first time, and the thing drops and it hits the ground, and they're like, what's that? And they see it, and I say, what? And I turn over the card and now it's gone off their hand, and it's like, now there's, and it was just as effective. Just as effective. It kind of blew my pacing. It blew my pacing, and I felt like we didn't get like, the three phase sort of effect there, but it still worked. I mean, they're still surprised. It's still this moment of, it was magical, and they're all staring at it and they're all pointing. It's on the ground. It rolled luckily face up, and they're just like, so
it's good. It's got some jazz magic moments.
Yeah, right. It's like, so make sure you dry off, your audience's hands. Like, can you wipe those down for me? It's like,
yeah. Here's a towel. Let me.
Right. Yeah. Look, if they're eating ice cream and it's dripping down, move on to something else.
Well, mistakes happen. So I mean, I don't care what trick you're doing. Yeah. Things are going to happen, and it's all in the way that you handle it. And
Yeah,
you know, if
literally.
you go, oh darn, it fell off your hand.
So
Yeah.
I will add something here for your listeners too, if they decide to go out and purchase this too. I have been playing around with some other script stuff, and one of the fun things that I've been doing is asking for, when I ask for a volunteer, somebody to help. I talk about, hey, I have 3 logs here, but I only have 2 hands. Can someone help me? And they hold out their hand and say, wait, are you strong? Because it's a log. It's and then we go in, and when I place it on their hand and say, and I saw a ladybug, I placed it on their hand, and I go to start and I say, wait, that's not too heavy, is it? So it's just been, I had a lot of fun with it, and probably used it a dozen times, and it seemed like it got a little chuckle and just added a little comic relief. And for those people who want the trick to be longer, there you go. You get an extra like 10 seconds maybe.
Nice. So Deuce, you said Deuce, Buck, you said you seem like you wanted to say something. I'm going to call you Deuce because you kind of look like
Don't say it.
what?
Say it.
Deuce.
I was going to say Ace Ventura.
Oh, okay.
He's
Oh,
not
that's great,
Deuce.
man.
That's Rob Schneider for Deuce Bigelow.
Oh, Deuce, no, okay. I wasn't going with that Deuce. I was just thinking Ace Ventura. It's a deck of cards, so Deuce. I don't know.
How many
Hey, I'll
explicit
take it.
boxes do they have to check?
Look, you can call me anything except late for meatloaf. Okay.
So
Sourdough.
if they want to get a hold of Lucky Ladybug, they obviously can get it from their favorite magic store. But if you want to get a little special, you can go to Deuce Gala, DEUCE Gala, GALA.com. And if you put in WRDGLB, you will get 5% off. Plus, you'll get an extra 20 ladybugs.
Woohoo!
Ooh.
Nice.
So, and by the way, your packaging,
performance power.
I
Wait,
love
hold-
your packaging. So
Wait, I need to hear this one more time. What'd you say, James?
I said I loved your packaging.
Thank you. Aside from the innuendo,
I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah. I mean, I didn't see the chest on air, so I can't comment on that. But
So-
the Lucky Ladybugs was packaged nicely.
So I'm going to be kind of silly here, but this is actually very serious. A couple reviewers have commented on that, and it means so much to me because part of what I'm bringing to the table, in terms of with the Magic Company is, just ultimate quality, and that starts with the packaging. Like for me, I always take a page from the Apple playbook. I mean, it's one of the few companies where you actually still keep the box, right? It's nice. There's something that just feels good about it, solid, right? And so that's very important to me. The other thing too is like, I want to make sure that I really like to overpromise and then overdeliver, right? And so when you look at the tutorial, it's not just some Yahoo who filmed it on their cell phone and they're like, "Hey guys, check this out," and it's the audio is just garbage, right? Convoluted. And so for me, given those bonuses, like we have the performance commentary, we have the workers guide, these other things that may not be necessary, but it helps you it helps give you just like a 360, like seeing it from different angles and other things you can do with it. So that's very important for me. Production value is huge, and so when I've gotten some people commenting on the packaging itself, I think I probably spent more time on the packaging than Josh did in creating this effect. So that means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, our shop, if you are ever in the Southern California area near Santa Paula, our shop we are solely, we don't sell any knockoffs. We don't sell any Indian magic. I mean, everything that we sell.
Dot or feather?
What's that?
Dot or feather? You said Indian, so dot or feather?
Oh, dot.
Okay, thank you.
Dot, yeah.
Got to make that distinction.
Everything we sell is something that we would be proud to perform. So oftentimes we'll get things from distributors and we look at it and it's like, no, this is not practical, and it goes into a bin. I'm going to, I'll give you an example, and if I lose our distributorship, I'm sorry. But
That's awesome.
what's the wallet?
Which one?
The Cornelius.
The
Thought Transmitter.
Thought Transmitter.
So Thought Transmitter is an amazing wallet. I use it all the time. It is the one knockoff that I use because the knockoff is 10 times
Mastermind.
Yeah, the knockoff is 10 times better than the original.
It's Magic Makers and it's Mastermind.
Yeah. So Thought Transmitter is a great concept, but the way they made it, you can see through the wallet. You can definitely feel where the gimmick is, and it's just not a practical effect to perform. So we got it, and it goes into our discount bin. We will not carry it because even though it's an amazing effect, it's a great thing. It's not performance quality. It's not really, it's just, to us, it doesn't meet the caliber that it needs for a working professional. And that's the kind of magic that we sell in our store. It's got to be good for a working professional.
Yeah, it's a cool toy.
Whole story, that whole distraught story to go and say that your product is not like that at all. It's all the way good. Packaging it, it's.
I appreciate that you were willing to lose your distributorship over saying that this is but we Lucky Ladybug is a quality product. Thank you.
Yeah.
That means a lot.
Can I point out one more thing too? Because I just want to clarify.
And the knockoff is not better than the actual original of Lucky Ladybug. Just so
Okay.
Right. China already has a knockoff.
Hey,
let's face it.
Kenya will have it out in a couple of years. Yeah.
Josh wants to say something.
Okay, go ahead. All right.
Here we go.
Platform.
I just want to be clear. These are stickers.
Yes.
And we put them in because they're fun.
Okay, that's good.
So yeah, the mask sticker, of course, the Deuce Gala logo, and then Ladybug. We wanted something just kind of special for that one, which kind of, if you look close, it does kind of have a Deuce Gala sort of look to the Ladybug. We were talking to our friend, and the guy we kind of bounce ideas off.
Magic James.
Yeah, he's like, dude, I have to tell you, like, I didn't know what it was either because, look, I'm a magician. We're just dumb. Like, we don't know what's going on. When we see stuff in there, we think, wow, this must be some kind of like special, deluxe version, or I don't know. It's like, is it a secret like Easter egg in the menu? Like, where do I find what is it? So he was actually using the Ladybug sticker on the blank card with the blue tack. He's like, I knew what that was.
Yes. Yeah. We include the blue tack so you can reuse the Ladybug if you're stingy or you're down to the last couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's put a disclaimer. If you are thinking that the sticker has something to do with the magic trick, this is probably not a trick for you to perform.
I'm so glad you said that because I felt like I'm like, is this getting lost? Like what is? I'm not so sure. I mean, doesn't everybody have a hydro flask?
My wife would understand. That's what you do with those things.
Right. Yeah.
All right, guys. So one of the things we do in our show is we do a magic review. As you know, we did your review last week. And Joshua's got to disappear again.
Yep.
He's got to close the room. So if you don't mind hanging on, I'm going to do a little trick review right here. And we will be right back.
Is it good? Should I buy it? Does it suck? Did I get ripped off? Is it more of a craft project than a magic trick? These questions and more answered now on the Magic Item of the Week here on Magic Talk.
Oh, and by the way, it sounds like our escape room guest
Is it good?
blew up.
Should I buy
wait a
it?
minute, we're on
Does
loop.
it suck? Did I get ripped off? Is it more of a
Yes, it's more of a craft project. I constantly do that with the loop. But we have an escape room where you have to defuse a bomb, and I think they blew up. So the trick that we're going to review today is called Watch, and it's from Pitata, Pitata. Am I saying that right? Does anyone know the actual name?
Well, some say potato.
Potato? Or
Others say
potato?
patata.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to say patata.
Akuna patata.
Yes. Yeah, and that's exactly what I thought when I heard it. So it is it's basically a mentalist effect where somebody is able to call out a time, and the watch, when you hand them the watch, they can look at it and it is the exact time that they called out. There are actually several versions of this. We sell, I think, 3 of them. I had the original version of a watch that was put out by Viking back in the day when technology did not exist like it does today. And you would actually have to push a button and watch it spin in order to get to the correct time. And then when it would finally get to the time, you would stop and you say, oh, look, it's on that time. So if you started on 12 and you had to go to 11, you were sitting there for a very long time going, so what made you think of 11? Was 11 like a special number? Was it something that you actually were thinking of, or did you just come out? Yeah. And then eventually it'd end up on 11 if you could stop it at the right time. If you missed, you went around again. So the great thing about this watch is that it's almost instantaneous. So as soon as they call out the time, you can literally take it off your wrist and hand it to them. It also, Patata has several different types of mentalist effects. You're going to go with potato or potato or whatever. They have a whiteboard that you can actually read, and you can hand the whiteboard to somebody and you can say, I want you to write down a time anytime you want. And they write it down, and then you hand them the watch, and the watch ends up being the time that they wrote on the whiteboard, which is really cool. So I used this effect at a wedding a couple of weeks ago, and I did a thing where I said, I'm going to snap my fingers, and when I do, I want you to call out anytime you want, just the snap of my fingers. And I had everybody believing that it was a subliminal message, that they were actually reading the time on my watch. And when I snapped, unbeknownst to them, they were calling out the time that they saw on my watch, which matched the time, obviously, that they called out. And it was all subliminal, and it was mind, and I had them all believing that. So at the end, they were like, how do you do that? How do you submit subliminal messages like that? I'm like, by lying. It was all a bunch of crap. It had nothing to do with that at all. No. So, but it's a great effect, and technology wise, it's a very well made product. So I highly recommend it. The watch, check it out online or at your favorite magic store or wr-magic.com. So
Awesome.
anyway,
Would you keep the box?
I will. You know what? It is an Apple box. I will. Nice packaging. Good solid quality. Yes, I will keep the box.
How would you say this one is different from was it Miranda? Was it
Miranda has one.
Yeah.
This one, it interfaces with a lot more of their devices.
Okay.
So did they blow up, Josh?
They did. They're dead.
Okay. So Josh, you come over here. I'm gonna go take care of that.
Oh, they're gone.
You got to clean up the bodies.
They took a coupon though to come back and try again.
How far did they get?
They didn't get very far.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they got to 2 puzzles on the bomb, and then that was it.
Wow. Yeah. So I normally like to perform some magic for them after they leave, because we are the only magic shop that has an escape room attached to it in the world. So
number one
in Little Santa Paula.
Well, I grew up in Ventura, so that's my old neighborhood.
Oh, did you? Okay. Yeah. So as far as like the Miranda watch, there's another watch that we sell. Do you remember the name of it? I am ill prepared.
There's a bunch of watches that we sell.
There's one that just recently came out on the market that runs off of a remote. And but the nice thing about the Patata is that they integrate with other devices that they have. So like the whiteboard, having them write down a time and you not having to do anything. Whereas if you're using a remote or a cell phone, you either have to have an assistant to work with you, or you have to figure out some way to, tap the buttons without being noticeable.
Mm-hmm.
This, they put it on the whiteboard and it automatically communicates. So
It's a nice RFID.
I did have a couple people though ask me, does it work like Siri? So it's technology can kind of sometimes be a little challenging
Yeah.
to make it look like magic, because everybody just assumes that I can tell Siri to change my time and it will change it. So
I feel like technology has really changed, people's perception of how it, I feel like reading, like I had read this years ago. It was might have been in like a Lawrence, what's his name? Lawrence Haas.
Or Haas, something like
Haas.
yeah.
And he had said, his goal in creating a trick is he wants to, the audience to have to not be able to reconstruct anything like that. If they even have a theory, even if it's wrong, then he feels like he hasn't accomplished his mission of creating a real magical moment. Oh man, so hard. Like, I'm sorry. Like the time we live in is like, everything is, I would say some of that technology is more magical than what somebody's performing on stage.
The nice thing about this is that it does look like a very genuine watch, and it does actually keep time.
A genuine analog watch.
Yeah.
Not analog, I'd say what they call that with the
analog.
Yeah.
Is this an analog?
Yeah,
okay.
Digital would be the numbers.
Okay.
But it's not big, it's not bulky, it
does not have a calculator or a bottle opener.
No. No calculator, no bottle opener. And it will actually keep time. So you can show them the time on your watch being the current time, and then you can place it down and then have them write on a whiteboard. And then you can just pick, and
but hold on, now that's suspicious.
The other thing that's cool.
Why are you showing them that, hey, look at this time on my phone? That's the same time as the one on my watch, right? I know how to keep good time. Yeah, huh? Seriously? Yeah.
Well, okay. One cool thing though is if you have them write a time on the whiteboard and you don't tell them about the watch can be your peak.
Ooh.
So you just
multiple levels.
Yeah, you just have them write a time down, think about any time they want, write it down on the board, and then you just don't use this at all.
Yeah. I like the idea of technology that looks like old technology. It's like put some kind of digital device in a spirit slate. It's like, well, obviously it's just a piece of chalk and a piece of rock. Nobody's gonna spend the time or the effort trying to put some kind of magnetic device that will drag the chalk around, right? But somebody does, So I think that's it's fun. I wish I was better at designing with technology like that, but most of the stuff I build is so big and clunky, I can't fit it into anything elegant. It's like, look at this,
Yeah. Here's my notepad.
Yeah,
Pay no attention to the fact that it's 6 inches thick.
6 inches thick, and it hums, and it's like about 108 degrees because batteries in it.
Yeah. and it weighs 40 pounds. But here, I'm going to give this to you, and I want you to write down anything you want.
Yeah.
So
well, and I think that's why, like, sometimes that old technology is fooling. Sometimes it's more fooling than, if you have something that, if you have something that looks like old technology, analog clocks, or, a pen, things that, or a pencil, things that don't look like there's possibly any way that somebody could have tinkered with that. And that's pretty magical when people come out with that stuff.
I think magical, things that look natural are some of the best magic, because it doesn't look like you're doing anything other than it's what am I trying to say, Josh?
It's not suspicious.
Yeah, it's not suspicious.
And I don't know how many times I've been fooled by a thumb tip. Like,
yeah, you know what? I gotta say,
those things are like freaking ubiquitous, right? I mean, and everybody knows about them. But I have been like just. And then, you go to a lecture and they perform this thing. You're like, man, that was amazing. I have no clue. And they're like, and you're like, no, again.
Yeah. I went to a lecture where the guy did it with a red thumb tip,
Yeah,
just to prove the fact that if you handle it correctly, nobody's going to see you have a thumb tip on.
for sure.
So, but anyway, all right. So we are just about out of time, and Joshua is going to be very upset with me if I don't allow him to do this last segment.
Well, come on. I've been gone for so long.
I
You're going to
know.
go and deprive me of everything that I like in here?
You are going to have 2 minutes.
Oh, good God.
All right, 2 minutes. Are you ready?
I feel like I'm back at home.
I know. Here we go. It's yours.
There
Hold
is
on.
an outbreak among us. It is limited to only a small portion of our population. They have a sickness. They have an addiction. They collect bicycle playing cards, which is bad for them, but great for us because we have almost 500 decks of playing cards to choose from. They'll go crazy in here. They'll spend every last penny they... This is their story. This is Playing Cards Anonymous here on Magic Talk.
All right. Well, first of
There
all,
is
we
an
have more than
outbreak
500
among
decks.
us.
Now. Oh my gosh, it's doing it again. We have more than 500 decks. We have. Are we over 600?
Oh, close. Yeah, actually, we are over
Close to
600.
about 6. Oh, hey, Joshua's joining in on the fun with Joshua. You guys
That's
can
awesome.
crinkle.
We doing ASMR now?
Yeah.
That's some more playing card edition.
So, what are you opening?
I am opening the cocktail playing cards. Actually, I noticed the last time you opened up the pizza playing cards.
I did, and you have to be very careful of what kind of words you use around Buck. So,
What are you talking? Why? Are you
Pizza is his trigger word. Pizza.
what is
My
on.
safe word.
eating your medicine today?
we are 1 hour into the show, and we didn't have to mark explicit, and now you're going to start doing this, and the whole show is going to go to hell.
Cocktails? I mean, come on. Did you take your medicine today?
Buck said it was his safe word.
Okay. Good Lord.
Okay.
Okay, so I didn't get a chance to review the pizza one, and now I wanted to go and review the other one, which is the cocktails.
Okay.
And this one is from the I should forget where the creator of this one is. This is richly made in Taiwan from the Fast Food Playing Cards
Okay.
is the company. I had to read.
All right. That's
My
good.
eyes are bad, you know that.
I know.
And this one, they do not have identical jokers. That breaks my heart a little bit, if you guys can see that. Oh, that's actually pretty dark over here.
Yes, it is.
But anyway, if you guys can see that, the jokers are, there's a light colored one, like a kind of a pink colored salmon-y one, and then there's a dark blue one that you can see.
And the pizza one did not have identical either.
It did not. Okay. So there's your problem. It's not a huge problem because you can do other magic tricks with non-identical jokers, but I do appreciate identical jokers more than.
Okay, you just
Yeah.
wasted 20 seconds on identical jokers. So
You know what? I'm going to talk your ear off now. If you don't shut up and let me talk about my playing cards.
okay.
Now let's see. What else do we have in here?
Are they traditional faces?
Close. Similar to. They're more illustrated. Actually, they have illustrations on the cards that have cocktails to them.
Now,
your
yeah, I know. I'm not showing anything.
your
so-
camera has better light
Okay.
to it. So
Yes, it does. But here's the interesting thing. He is holding a pizza spatula.
the pizza and the cocktails are the same company.
No, I get it. But why are they crossing paths? So,
Because it's like any other
so the
illustrated
king
series.
is drinking cocktails. The Jack is serving him pizza.
Well, yeah, because he's at a restaurant.
Okay.
Come on, use your imagination. You know how this works.
So,
So now this one, it's actually they're not air cushioned. That's for certain. They're actually kind of feel more like have a more Linois type of a finish, almost kind of a more linen-ish type of finish. They are a nice thickness though. I like that, where they bounce back with the spring.
and do they fan?
Do they fan? Actually, they are very smooth, so they fan very nicely. Everybody can see that. They
Check.
can. They
Nope.
fan really well.
It's a podcast. Nobody can see anything.
Well, okay, we're looking to the Facebook people. It does fan very
Ooh.
nicely.
Okay.
And now we have. They're all. Let's see. They. You have, instead of your standard red, you've got like a pinkish color for the opposite suits. You know, you got the black ones. They look like they're legitimate black, and then you have what looks like a flamingo pink,
Okay.
kind of opposite color. And
do they Pharaoh?
that's the thing to check. Let's see. We have.
And how
starting
much
from the
are
back.
these playing cards?
These playing cards are 50. You're gonna grill me on every
Yeah.
single question. This is actually $15 playing card,
$15. Okay.
and they are numbered too.
And it is they're called cocktails, which if you're
Cocktail
keeping
playing cards.
yes, and if you're keeping track, they are bucks safe word. So
I have a deck of cards too. They're also numbered, like 1 through 10, and then they have like a J, a K, and a Q. I don't know what that means.
well, that's unique.
Yeah.
They actually faro really nicely from the back.
All right.
They're really it has a good spring to them, and it has a good grasp to the cards.
Okay, so I think the question becomes: do your cards also have a ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? And you said what else, Joshua?
I don't know. It's like a K, a J, and it's a Q. I think it's a Q. It's kind of like an O with a little,
Like,
A little
he's
tail to it.
He's a math teacher. He doesn't know anything about letters or anything. He just
He
knows
doesn't
numbers.
teach English.
only X and Y. That's it. Yeah.
You know, that's the thing.
Algebra.
The occasional M.
Algebra does deal with letters.
So
But yes, it's a good deck. I actually like this one a lot. It actually holds up well with the it's family deck, which is the pizza. So I think they would pair well too, because the back design is very similar.
So, in all fairness, there isn't hardly any decks that Joshua does not like.
There's actually 20 that are not good.
20?
20.
You actually have a log of this?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I look at the wall and I think, I'm not going to take you. 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 You
Okay.
cut my fingers. I'm not going to take you. Just like that.
Now, would you
Deck
take
one was one of them.
Would you take Joshua Ray? He's got a deck.
He does? You have one? I'll
I
take
do.
any.
Do I have a deck?
No, 1 + 1 equals 10.
Josh actually does have a deck. That
I
was
did.
released
So
through-
yeah, funny. Illusionist had done some kind of drawing one holiday season. I think it was 2018, and it was like, oh, if you buy something from their website, they enter you in a drawing, and it was like so bizarre. I didn't even know what was going on. Some guy contacts me, and he's, hey, just to let you know, you won our contest. This is in January, and we want to team up with a magician and design a deck together, blah blah blah, this whole thing. So yeah, it was the Tinker deck from
Wow.
Illusionist.
Nice. I want to see it now.
Yeah, well, yeah. Hang on, give me 10 seconds.
So, Illusionist, I don't know if you've seen their latest blog post, but they are basically the death of playing cards. They
What
are
does that
getting
mean?
out of the playing card business. They think it's oversaturated, and they think that the market is going to die a horrible death.
Why?
Because Theory 11.
I don't know. It's because too many
Probably.
people are producing cards, and but
Probably because of Theory 11, and they feel upset that they're not on top of the game.
I don't know. But they wrote this huge blog about how it's the death of playing cards. All right, Joshua,
it was
Ray,
marketing.
you got 30 seconds.
Here we go.
No. Nice.
Tinker, okay.
Tinker comes in, already shrink wrapped, of course. But here's my favorite part. My favorite
Oh my
part
gosh,
is,
you just opened it.
oh yeah,
okay.
I've got a bunch. Yeah, there's
Yeah,
Maybe
a
we can send one to you.
flex capacitor, and stuff like this.
Ah,
So the story here is, a dad who works in his garage, tinkers. So we got this real worn look, to them. It's on their
Nice.
E9 stock, which is a nice crushed stock, and got a little
Cool.
Rube Goldberg machine for the matching jokers.
The lens is on your left, dude.
I'm sold.
Yeah, and but all the court cards have tools, like torches. So they are
very cool.
custom court cards.
And are these decks that are still available?
I don't think they're available anymore, but I have probably 15 or so.
Nice.
And I have one that's open. Oh, they did put my name in the smallest of fonts possible. I think, what is that, like 0.4 or something?
Nice.
It's like barely visible, barely printable on ink, and they put your name in it.
Yeah, right. It's like,
All right, guys. Hey, it was a lot of fun. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
And now, are you both in Northern California?
no.
You're
No,
still
just Josh. Yeah.
Okay. So where in Southern California are you?
Long Beach.
Long Beach. Nice. Okay. And Josh, you're in Northern.
Yeah, Sacramento.
So you do a lot of this FaceTime kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. This is how we collaborate.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, Josh, I'm gonna send you a deck.
Dude, you're my best friend.
He's going to send you the one he just opened.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't care.
I'll send you an open one and a sealed one. That's how much I had fun today.
Nice. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. I wish you luck with Lucky Ladybug. I know Murphy's is distributing those out, so that should do pretty well. And
Hey, you know where else you can buy it? When we get them.
at the White Rabbit Magic Shop.
Exactly. You're going to find it at your local favorite White Rabbit Magic Shop.
There's more than one?
Right.
Well, they're going to be.
Okay.
But right now, there's only one.
All right.
The one and only.
Good enough.
Hey, it's called confidence. You have to have confidence.
I get it. I totally get
That's
it.
right.
So, so anytime you guys got anything going on, let us know. We'll be happy to have you back on.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Awesome.
thank you for joining us. Thank you everybody for listening. And remember, at White Rabbit Magic, Joshua.
We believe in magic.
Abracadabra, hocus pocus, presto. Pick a card, any card. Some words are magic. They sparkle with the promise of something wonderful. But they're still just words until you add that something wonderful to the mix. And that's what you'll find at the White Rabbit Magic Shop in Santa Paula. Their inventory includes world-class tricks and illusions that are not only for sale, but that they will teach you to master. In addition, White Rabbit Magic Shop is world-renowned for its amazing collection of bicycle playing cards, with nearly 500 decks in stock. So, if you're serious about magic, then say it with us. At the White Rabbit Magic Shop, we believe in magic. The White Rabbit Magic Shop, located at 15500 Telegraph Road, Suite D15 in Santa Paula. For more information, please call 805-850-3051 or check us out online at wr-magic.com.